I need a drink. Hold on a second. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I might be saying this a whole 2 months early, but Butthurt Mania is running wild, brother.
Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Open up your hate and then open the make.
Oh yes, what's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal, Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, and oh, I'm in a good mood, guys. I am in a super good mood. I slept on this for a night to see if I would still be in as much of a good mood this morning, and I did, and I watched it again. I'm in a great mood. And judging by one of the people that showed up in the Rumble later on, I don't feel bad saying, oh, my brothers and sisters, testify about the Royal Rumble. Oh, fuck yes. Now, I could go through the whole card. I really could. But let's be real for a second. I mean, everybody that complained that there was no undercard was blowing smoke out of their ass, because the only matches that mattered on this card were the two main matches. But I will say, Cesaro and Kid defeating the New Day was a good match. I think it makes sense. I think if it was the 3-on-3 like it was originally planned to be, I think it would have made more sense for the New Day to win because they are the 3-man team. But to have part of the 3-man team versus a new and up-and-coming tag team, it made sense for Kid and Cesaro to win. It sucks that Xavier Woods is injured. We didn't get the match we got on main event, which was great. I do have to say, Adam Rose still coming out with Kid and Cesaro was a nice touch. Adam Rose with his NWO Hogan attire. Oh yes, with the black and white feather boas, with the skull shirt, with the tights, with the black and white tights with the lightning coming down them just like Hollywood, was a nice touch. It shows the progression of the heel Adam Rose. Once the Rosebuds turn on him, his heel turn will be complete, and I think he'll be fantastic after that. Ascension defeated the Outlaws, which is what was supposed to happen. Nobody likes the Ascension because they've made the jump from NXT to WWE, so they're not cool anymore. Outlaws came out. They still have the crowd in the palm of their hands as much as they ever have. They put the new guys over like they're supposed to do. It was a good match. Usos defeated The Miz and Mizdow. We saw a little bit of dissension between Mizdow and The Miz leading into WrestleMania. That's okay. I'm also okay with never seeing this match again. As I say, I have respect for the Usos, I have respect for Damien Sandow, and Miz is my boy, as you guys know, but this has run its course. The highlight of the undercard for me was Bella's versus Natalya and Paige. Bella's win, which makes sense. They've been a team longer, they've known each other longer, they're twins, they've known each other since day one, if I can quote what it says on the Usos shorts there. There's no... I like Paige. Paige is like my second favorite diva in the WWE right now. But I can put that bias aside and I can say logically it doesn't make sense for Paige and Natalya to win. They've been a team for a cup of coffee. Metaphorically, you could say the Bellas have been a team since they were born. Plus one of them's the champion, so that team should look strong, should it not? So that when the title goes to somebody else, it feels like an accomplishment. But... all that aside, like I say, 3 minutes of talking, including my intro, that's all that the undercard really meant. I'm wicked happy, guys, and I'm wicked hyper, and I'm sitting here, and I'm trying to calm down, drinking my water like a good, healthy boy. Lesnar versus Rollins versus Cena, and the Rumble match takes up 9 pages of notes, guys. So now that we've got the irrelevant portion of the Rumble out of the way, let's talk about the triple threat match. Lesnar starts with a suplex to Cena twice. Lesnar tries an F5 on Rollins, and J&J Security make the save. J&J Security, like the jobbers they are and in the roles that they are, get eliminated quite quickly. Cena tries for an AA. Lesnar throws him into a kick by Rollins. Rollins is sitting on the apron on the outside waiting for the kick. Lesnar kindly feeds him to Rollins, which is nice. Lesnar tosses Rollins into the ring. Lesnar hits a dirty suplex on on Rollins, and then another one to Cena, and then another suplex to Cena, and then a German on Rollins, where they make a point of this, which I really, really liked. The cameraman and the announcers both focus on the fact that Rollins didn't take it flat on his shoulder. He took it on his one shoulder, and if you watch the slow motion replay, his shoulder kind of moves like this. Really, really nice. Really, really nicely done, and I'm really glad that they emphasized on that. The storytelling in this match is good from the get-go. Suplex to Rollins. We get raucous ECW chants because we're in Philly. For reasons. Kimura lock on Cena. Now, here's the thing. Here's a Super Cena moment that I don't mind because it led to something cool, and I'll explain that as we go. Kimura lock is devastating. It's broken Triple H's arm. It's broken Shawn Michaels' arm twice, kayfabe wise. Now, if you've got your arm locked behind you like this, there's no way you should be able to stand up and pick somebody else up from that position. That's what Cena does. That's Super Cena. That's what we expect from him. And the fact that it's expected is the reason why I'm willing to let it go. Does that make sense? But he's got Lesnar held up by the Kimura lock position that he's in. Rollins comes off the top rope, drops a knee. It basically lands between the two of them as they're standing, but it squares Lesnar in the head, and it looks dirty. It doesn't look like a crisp, clean move. It looks dirty, it looks sloppy, which makes it look more painful in this particular scenario. There's not a lot of scenarios like that where fucking up a move actually makes it look better. But, you know, a nice clean suplex where you land completely flat looks devastating. But if you mess it up and it goes a little messy, and you see what happened to Rollins' shoulder earlier in the match, that looks more devastating because that looks like it's very, very specific on one part. The knee was a glancing blow to Lesnar and kind of divided the Lesnar and Cena. So it served multiple purposes. So, while I don't like the Super Cena-ing from John Cena, in this particular scenario, it served a purpose. I hope that makes sense. I'm rambling on it way too much, and I'm over-explaining it for those of you that actually saw the match. But I have to point that out. There's a couple times in this match, actually, and I'm going to get to a couple later on, where what Cena did in this match was really good. I know I shit on Cena a lot, but Cena pulled his weight in this match, and this is one of the first examples of that. Rollins works on Lesnar's legs with kicks while Cena is down. This is another thing I like about this match. With Cena out of the equation, Rollins and Lesnar wasn't built to look like quite the mismatch you would expect. So Rollins working on Lesnar's legs, and Lesnar, to his credit, selling them. Rollins and Cena double team suplex Lesnar, and Cena hits an AA on Lesnar when he tries to get up. Rollins tosses Cena out and off of Cena's AA, Rollins tosses Cena out and gets a near fall on Lesnar. Well, I say a near fall, it's a 1 count, and the commentators at this point come into their own once again, where they talk about the history of the they take a couple of seconds to talk about the history of the AA and all the champions and great guys and legends and all that Cena has taken out with the AA, and Lesnar kicked out at 1. What a badass he is. Commentators on point. Lesnar tosses out Rollins and suplexes Cena some more. Cena hits multiple shoulder tackles to Rollins. Cena back suplexes Rollins, and a 5-knuckle shuckle is interrupted by Lesnar hitting a German suplex. Basically, Cena's at the hand motion part of the 5-knuckle shuffle. Lesnar sneaks up behind him. Fuck you, suplex. Stop showboating. It's one of those. Made me smile. Lesnar tries rolling Germans on Cena, but after the first one, Rollins gets him with a kick to the face, which is nice. Rollins hits a knee to Lesnar's shoulder blade area, which knocks him out of the ring. Cena gets a near fall on Rollins with some sort of roll-up maneuver. Rollins hits I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was a top rope blockbuster on Cena, and the near fall is broken by Lesnar. Lesnar pounds on Rollins' back a lot, which makes sense. Rollins hasn't really been a high flyer recently because he's been a heel, but of the three of them, Rollins is definitely the high flyer. I don't think we're going to get the shooting Brock press anytime soon. Lesnar pounds on Rollins' back. Cena fails at clotheslining Lesnar 3 times. I like that. Cena is the Superman. Cena can plow through anybody except Lesnar. I like that. Lesnar, because Rollins tries to sneak up on him and do something off the top rope, I'm assuming either an elbow or a knee, he catches him. He doesn't just catch him, he catches him in the F5 position, hits an F5, gets a near fall. We have this amazing sequence where Cena hits an AA, Rollins gets up, walks into another AA, gets up, walks into another AA, and it's good, and it makes a near fall, and it's only a near fall because Rollins pulls off Cena. Rollins hits a curb stomp on Lesnar, who's still trying to get up from the third AA, and he gets a near fall. We get a "This is awesome" chant from the crowd, which I thoroughly agree with. Cena tackles Lesnar through the guardrail. Cena picks up Lesnar from that mess of guardrail and timekeeper area and whatever, and then makes him eat steps. Heyman getting out of the way almost trips over the steps, which is a nice little point showing that he is in fact scared of John Cena. Very, very nice. Cena uses the top section of the stairs to Lesnar's head, laying him out on the table. Rollins, in probably the spot of the match, hits an elbow on Lesnar from the top turnbuckle. Now, it's not just an elbow like you would imagine a typical Shawn Michaels elbow. He's landing more flat with the elbow as well. So I think if you look at it the way it's shot and the way it comes off, and especially when you see it in slow motion, you're getting the full body effect of a splash and the pointed attack of an elbow drop. So it serves a dual purpose. We get a "This is awesome" chant, and Lesnar is out of the match for a while. This whole idea is reinforced by the fact that there's medics, there's multiple backboards, there's a gurney out there. Commentators really back it up by mentioning, I'm trying to overhear what the medics are saying. Heyman's barking out orders. He's really worried. One of the medics says he thinks he broke a rib. While we're watching the match and we're getting commentary on the match as it still goes on, we're also getting commentary on how injured Lesnar is. Again, commentators on point. I know a lot of people like to shit on Cole, on Lawler, and on JBL, but this was perfect. Small in the ring, meanwhile, small package by Rollins on Cena gets a near fall. Knee to Cena's face gets another near fall. And AA, okay, here is another. This is another whole sequence that I can only explain in one fluid motion. Attitude adjustment is countered because he throws him. I suck at explaining things sometimes. The attitude adjustment is pulled off, but instead of falling on his back, Rollins lands on his feet and goes back at Cena, who catches him in a dirty looking Batista-style sit-down powerbomb. Now, as I said before, I don't give Cena a lot of credit, but other than that splash to the outside, this powerbomb is the best-looking move in this match. He looks like he could have broken him through the ring, because it's just, there's no bounce to it, there's no whiplash to it, it's just, here you are, boom. But Cena gets greedy, and this is the other half of the sequence that I really, really like. Cena tries to set up Rollins on the top rope for a top rope superplex. Rollins counters into what I can only call a sunset flip, pillar to post, turnbuckle powerbomb, and oh yes, it's pretty, especially when you consider how much bigger Cena is, or bulkier even, Cena is than Rollins. It's a nice, neat little move. Follows up with countering the... Cena responds by countering the curb stomp into an STF. J&J Security have resurrected at this point. It's a good 10 or so minutes into the match, so they can recover in that amount of time. I don't mind that at all. J&J beat down Cena, and J&J and Seth Rollins hit the Shield-style triple powerbomb on Cena for a near fall. So Cena tosses Rollins out of the ring for a second and hits a double attitude adjustment on J&J Security. AA on Rollins once he's back in the ring, and Cena gets another near fall. We get from the crowd, from the Philly crowd who you think would hate Cena, you get a pretty 50-50 let's go Cena sucks chant. Cena tries an AA, Rollins rolls out of it and hits him with an enziguri, which is nice. Curb stomp gets him another near fall. With Cena down, Rollins goes back to the top rope and hits what I can only call a twisting moonsault splash. And that's just me putting terms together to try and explain what it was. I've seen people on Twitter, and I've seen people, and so please don't think that this is me trying to, get myself over here and like that. But I've seen people on Twitter, and I've seen people in YouTube reviews already refer to this as the Phoenix Splash. If this is known as the Phoenix Splash, then with all my heart and soul, I hope Deluxe Man and Preston choke on it every single time they have to call it. Anyway, Lesnar runs in to make the save after the Phoenix Splash and suplexes Rollins. Again, suplex to Cena, suplex to Rollins, who lands on his feet. Rollins, at this point, is brilliant. 2 shots in a row with the Money in the Bank briefcase and sets up a briefcase-assisted curb stomp, to which Lesnar kind of sits up like, no, fuck yourself, catches him in another F5, and Lesnar gets the win. This match was fantastic, and I know that this is January. I get that this is the first pay-per-view of the year. I get that we're in the first month of the year. But this, so far, is the first contender for match of the year. I like it. Cena looked good. Cena contributed a lot to this match, which again, I say, I shit on Cena a lot. I am the guy that made Cena Apocalypse a couple years ago. My opinion of him hasn't changed, but I will give him an immense amount of credit. He was good in this match. I like the fact that Rollins was made to look like he could at least somewhat stand toe-to-toe with Brock Lesnar, because we made Rollins look incredibly strong without winning and without wasting the briefcase angle, which makes me think really long and really hard that they're actually going to pull the trigger on somebody cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase at Mania. But we will get to that later. Lesnar has an injury angle to work on right now, which is going to get him back off TV until the Rumble, which is fine, especially, you know, he bumped around like a crazy man in this match, so if he is legitimately injured, that could be a thing. But no, this match was fantastic. Anybody that, I've only seen it from one or two people, but anybody that says that Rollins was buried in this match can suck a fuck. Rollins and Lesnar decided the outcome of this match, and John Cena was a non-issue. I like that. I like that because it's not because I'm being spiteful to John Cena in this case, but because it's unexpected. You figure either the taking of the pin or the receiving of the pin would have been done by John Cena. Either John Cena pinning Lesnar, Lesnar pinning John Cena, etc. You figure John Cena would have been involved in the fall one way or the other, but he was irrelevant to the outcome of the match, and I like that because it really, even though he didn't win, it really puts Rollins in the focal point. If you're taking pictures of this match up until the end, Rollins is in the last shot, Cena's not. That's good. That's cool. He hung with Brock Lesnar, and he's been in the company like 2 years. And he's a small guy, which, you know, WWE only likes big guys. Well, obviously not. But yeah, so that's that. And they really play it up as like, okay, we got the Royal Rumble match coming up next, but who could ever possibly look forward to facing Brock Lesnar at Mania after a showing like this tonight? Again, I say it, and I say it, and I say it, because it's true. Commentators were on point tonight. The Rumble match. We see the typical by the numbers thing. We see a couple of video clips of people saying why they're going to win, etc., 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 including Roman Reigns saying he's going to cock his fist and make it rain in this bitch. Anybody else think he's like fisting somebody every time he does this? It's fine. Everybody will be fine. Roman Reigns haters, you'll be fine. Miz is out at number 1, who's pulling double duty after his tag team title shot earlier tonight. R-Truth is number 2. Now, I will admit, it should have been Damian Sandow. Sorry, guys, my chair is doing funny things. It should have been Damian Sandow in number 2. That could have kick-started their rivalry a little more on point. But they didn't do that, which is fine. They do have, because both of them have pretty silly entrances. You know, Miz is like the Hollywood guy who's, you know, concerned about the moneymaker, and R-Truth is, you know, doing his rapping, doing his pandering to the crowd. But they do have that momentary pause where they both look at the sign and they both point at the sign. And both of them look quite serious for a second. I like that. You need that. It's where all the gimmicks... Oh, excuse me. It's where all the gimmicks and all the bullshit and all the hype go away for a second, and it's like, that's what we're looking towards. I like that. Now, from here to Mania, where we're on Raw, and we momentarily, dramatically pause and look at the sign at least 20 times a night, that's not what I'm talking about. You're like, this is the Rumble, and that's what we're fighting for. I like that. That's good. There's nothing super special in the first segment of the match. We immediately, as soon as the match started, get Miz Dow's better chance from the Philly crowd, which is fine. Miz and R-Truth are Miz and R-Truth. Let's be real. Miz is my boy, but, you know. Number 3 gets a huge pop right out of the box is Bubba Ray Dudley. Ridiculous ECW chants. Cole reminds us that it's been 10 years since Bully Ray's been seen in the WWE, and, little tidbit, this is his first entrant in the Royal Rumble match ever. I hope that's actually true, and that's not a statistic they just pulled out of their ass, and I can't be bothered to check, to be real, but if that is true, then cool. Bubba Ray with ridiculous clotheslines all over the Miz. Truth plays Devon in this scenario for the was up drop, for the Truth get the tables, and for the 3D. Now, I think it's funny that Bubba Ray not only does the whole Truth get the tables thing, but he then goes around the ring encouraging people to chant for tables. Not a table is seen. Oh yes. Bubba eliminates the Miz and eliminates Truth, and entrant number 4 is Luke Harper. Bubba tosses... I already said that. Bubba and Harper brawl for a while. Harper hits a nice super kick on Bubba, which looks nice. as it always does. Bray Wyatt comes out as number 5. Now, it's one of those things where it's like, if it's Kane, if it's Bray Wyatt, if it's The Undertaker, if it's whoever, I question the dark entrances in the middle of a match. I know it's for atmosphere and effect, and we're supposed to see the fireflies and all that stuff, and all of it's great. I don't know how good it is because under the veil of darkness, or whatever you want to call it, a lot of shady things can happen. Now, I get that Bray Wyatt's a heel, and maybe if they wanted to book it that way, that could be the point. But it's something I question. I don't know necessarily enough to say that it was bad. I just question it. That's fine. Bray and Bubba face off, and Luke Harper is still being in the ring. You expect that you're going to see Devon next, but no, that doesn't happen. Wyatt eliminates Bubba in short order after they brawl a little bit. Axel is number 6, but Axel's taken out in the rampway by Eric Rowan. Rowan takes his spot, so to speak, even though the commentary go to great lengths to remind us that Rowan is not officially in the match. The Wyatt family brawl. Eric Rowan hits corner splashes on Wyatt and Harper multiple times. As Harper and Rowan brawl in the corner, Wyatt comes along, eliminates both of his proteges, and leads the crowd as they sing, "I've got the whole world in my hands." And he kind of sits there. And this is the beginning of the Bray Wyatt story in this Rumble. Say what you want to do about the finish. The strongest person coming out of this Rumble match is Bray Wyatt. I don't care what you say. Number 7 is the Boogeyman. They face off. They try to out-weird each other. The commentary coins this as the Eater of Worlds versus the Eater of Worms, which makes me smile. Huge clothesline by Bray Wyatt after they're done posing off. You know, Boogeyman doing his little shuck and jive demon thing, and Bray Wyatt doing his handstand Spider-Man walk thing. Huge clothesline by Bray Wyatt and eliminates the Boogeyman in short order. Sin Cara comes out at number 8 with, I hate to say this, but typical lucha offense. He eats his sister Abigail. Wyatt eliminates Sin Cara. Wyatt then cuts a promo in the ring on the mic, CM Punk style, about how it's his year, and on the mic sings with the crowd. He's got the whole world in his hands, which is nice. Ryder comes out and actually gets a bit of offense before he is eliminated by Bray Wyatt. Daniel Bryan comes out and the whole place goes nuts, and Twitter blows up and Facebook blows up, and I'm sure if I had Instagram it would be blowing up, and my phone is blowing up, and well, with typical Daniel Bryan bullshit offense, really, 10 or 12 kicks to the corner while Bray Wyatt is a nice guy and stays there and takes them, including my favorite and yours, the Daniel Bryan silly kicks. Oh, yes. 11 is Fandango. Fandango beats on Bryan, which makes me smile, and Bryan responds with the most serious move he can think of, which is, of course, an airplane spin. Oh, no. Tyson Kidd, who's also pulling double duty, comes out at number 12. Tyson enters with a pendulum kick to Bryan's head, followed by a springboard drop kick to Bryan. And then Kidd hits a hesitation drop kick on Fandango, who's in the Tree of Woe in the corner. Tyson and Bryan trade punches for a while, including a mid-ring crossbody collision, which I will give Bryan a little bit of credit, looked really good. Mostly because of Kidd, though. Stardust is 13, top rope elbow drop to Kidd. Bryan tosses out Tyson Kidd, because, this is the thing. Bryan and Wyatt fight outside, even though they're not eliminated. Bryan tosses Wyatt through the middle ropes, and then he does his suicide dive, because, a guy with head and shoulder and neck injuries should be doing a suicide dive with no problem, right? And we're back. That jump cut was brought to you by the fact that my camera's an asshole. Where did we leave off? Bryan and Wyatt are fighting on the outside because Bryan is Superman and can do a suicide dive even with a bad neck. Number 14 is DDP. Stardust stomps DDP on his way into the ring. A diamond cutter on Stardust, a top rope diamond cutter on Fandango, and a diamond cutter on Wyatt. And then we have 15. 15 comes out. 15, sorry, I should stop crunching that. 15 is Rusev. Rusev eliminates DDP and Fandango right away. Rusev and Wyatt stare down, and this tells... sorry, guys. This tells the story for the next little while in this match. Rusev and... I just said that. Rusev and Wyatt stare down. Bryan with the double silly kicks on Bray Wyatt and Rusev. Because they're meant to stand there. Because WWE booking tells them to, and because WWE's up Bryan's ass. You basically, and I said this in a SmackDown review, to take the Daniel Bryan silly kicks, you basically have to stand there with your chest out and say, "Yes, Bryan, please kick me in the chest, because my paycheck says so, because the story says so, because I have to be booked to be such a dumbass to make you look good that I'm going to stand here and let you kick me in the chest." Even when you turn around to kick that other guy in the chest, I'm not going to move. I'm not going to roll it. I can't, because the WWE and the bookers are so far up your ass that I have to stand here like this and take the silly kicks. But Wyatt and Rusev seem to get mighty, mighty sick of that as the brawl goes towards the corner. And let me say this loudly. Let me say this proudly. Let me say it for the world to hear. And if I wasn't inside, I'd say it from the rooftop. Wyatt and Rusev eliminate Daniel Bryan. Oh yes. Oh yes. Everybody cries. It's fine, you know. YWC cries, Philly cries, the WWE Universe cries. I'm sure Deluxe Man goes and looks for his gun. I sit here, on the other hand, and think that, you know, after a long day, you need a nice warm shower. I shower myself in YWC tears. Fuckers. Oh, yes. Goldust comes out at 16. Goldust is almost eliminated by Stardust. The brothers fight for a while. 17 is Kofi Kingston, who's also pulling double duty. And because it's Kofi Kingston and because it's what he does, kicks for everybody. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Adam Rose comes out. He's still in the Hollywood Rose attire. He comes out with the Rosebuds, obviously. The Rosebuds save Kofi Kingston from elimination. They walk him around the ring and they eventually put him back in the ring. Adam Rose yells at them for doing so that when Rusev eliminates him, there's nobody there to catch him. Bye Adam Rose. The announcers tell us that Bray Wyatt is up to 6 eliminations and Rusev is up to 4. 19 is your favorite and mine, Roman Reigns. The Dust Brothers beat down on Roman for a little bit. He responds by, well, let's be real, eliminating both of them. Rusev and Wyatt double team Roman. Big E Langston, who's also pulling double duty tonight, comes in at number 20. Big E and Rusev trade suplexes for a while. Rusev hits a nice looking cannonball maneuver on Big E in the corner. Mizdow comes out because he's number 21. Miz tries to take his spot and fails because Miz gets up on the apron, gets knocked off the apron before he can even get in the ring by Roman Reigns. Mizdow goes in there with a couple of seconds of trademark Miz offense and gets eliminated by Rusev in no short order. Swagger comes out at 22 to a massive We the People chant. Takes down Rusev predictably because that thing is still a thing. But the team of Rusev and Wyatt double team Swagger a lot. Ryback comes out at 23. Ryback tosses Wyatt and tosses down Wyatt, Rusev, and Big E. This is the thing. You're a big guy. You come into the ring. You toss down any big guys that are in the ring. Meat hook clothesline to Rusev looks really, really nice. Rusev and Wyatt now are double teaming Ryback. 24 is Corporate Kane. Right hands for everybody, and he immediately goes after Ryback. Wyatt hits a corner splash on Roman. In the meantime, 25 is Ambrose, who gets, let's be real, a massive, massive pop from the Philly crowd. Ambrose goes after Kane and then takes his turn brawling with the team of Wyatt and Rusev. Ambrose hits the top rope elbow drop that he does to a standing Kane, which looks nice and kind of dirty at the same time. Titus O'Neil makes me smile at 26 because he comes in and he's eliminated in 4 seconds by Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. The announcers tell us 2 quick points here. After the Titus O'Neil elimination, they say, don't worry, he was in a whole 4 seconds, so Santino Marella's record of being eliminated in 1 second is still intact. That made me smile. They also bring us up to date on the fact that Wyatt has now been in the Rumble for 38 minutes. Bad News Barrett comes out, and he gets a really realistically good pop, too. What bugs me about this is I know this is the Rumble. I know this is for a shot at the big world title. But as he's taking his cape thing off in the aisleway, he literally throws the Intercontinental Championship up the rampway, which kind of makes it look like a piece of garbage. Which, you know, say what you will about the Intercontinental Championship, but it's the smallest of nitpicks. But I didn't like that at all. Roman, Ambrose, and Wyatt all brawl together. Cesaro comes out at 28. He's pulling double duty. He gets a decent pop. Uppercuts for everybody. Oh, yes. Cesaro and Ambrose square off for a little bit in the middle of the ring. It's good. Rusev eliminates Big E, and let's be real, nobody cares. Big Show comes out at 29. The whole field tries to eliminate the Big Show, and I like this spot. This is a spot that's always going to happen for Big Show and for Mark Henry. When they come out to the ring, the entire field stops, and they all try to eliminate the big guy. It makes sense. I know a lot of people like the Big Show. They don't want him to be the focus, but it puts some credence to the fact that he is a giant, and that the whole Rumble had to try and get him out so that whoever does eventually eliminate him looks like a badass, right? Right, there we go. Choke slams for everybody. Immediately, Show and Kane team up. Show and Kane eliminate Ryback. Number 30 is Ziggler, who gets maybe tied with Bryan sort of pop from the Philly crowd. Super kicks for Show, super kicks for Kane, super kicks for Wyatt. A double jumping DDT on Kane and Big Show looks nice. Super kicks Barrett right out of the match. Oh yes, Cesaro swing on Ziggler hits about 11 rounds if you follow the counting of the crowd. Cesaro, Ziggler work their way out so that they're both fighting on the apron, and he super kicks Cesaro off the apron and out of the match. Ziggler, in what's gotta be one of the spots of this match, Ziggler goes out to do a top rope something from the top turnbuckle, eats the weapon of mass destruction punch from the Big Show, and falls to the ground, literally looking like a corpse when he hits the ground. This is the ragdoll cell of the night, as I've dubbed it. Kane and Show, then they each grab an arm, they each grab a leg, and they throw him out of the ring like somebody else's dirty laundry, for real. The announcers now tell us that while Kane no longer has the individual eliminations in a single Royal Rumble match record, Kane now holds the all-time career eliminations record, which I'm sure makes all the NXT let's start a new golden era bullshit fans sad, because we're giving an older guy credit, but whatever. Weapon of mass destruction punch to Wyatt. Kane and Show to basically treat Wyatt the way they just treated Ziggler. And the YWC continues to cry, and I continue to laugh because you're all butthurt. The final four is the Authorities, Kane and Big Show versus the former Shield members Ambrose and Roman. We get a little bit of 2-on-2 action. We see a close-up on Roman Reigns' face, which looks like it's busted open pretty hard. I don't know what was supposed to have busted him open. I don't know whether it's real or fake, I will admit that, but it's a nice visual. Chokeslam to Ambrose. Show and Kane eliminate Ambrose, and yeah, the crowd doesn't like that too much. They double team Roman a bit. They're both trying to push Roman over. Big Show grabs the back of Kane's belt to keep him in, but Kane thinks that Big Show was trying to hold him out. So heel miscommunication leads to Kane and Show brawling. They press themselves up against the ropes. Roman Reigns, being the guy in the ring, takes that opportunity to toss both of them out of the ring. They get pissed off. They come back to beat down Roman, something fierce, and none other but The Rock makes the save. Combinations of Superman punches, spine busters, spears, and rock bottoms for all of those guys, and it's all good. Now, what we don't realize in this whole matter is that Rusev has been hiding outside the ring. He comes in with a last-ditch effort, very, very Santino Marella style, walks in just long enough to eat a spear, and Roman Reigns wins the match, poses with The Rock after the match and whatever, and that's it. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar is your main event for WrestleMania as it stands right now. I'm sure they'll tweak it in some way, shape, or form to get Super Goat back in the match before WrestleMania time. But for now, I will take this because it makes everybody else miserable. Everybody that shits on me for all of my opinions is absolutely miserable right now. And it might make me a horrible person, but that makes me smile. Two things I'll say right off the bat. People don't like The Rock being involved in the end of this match because, why, if Roman Reigns is so strong, why did he need The Rock's help to win the match? The Rock didn't beat anybody. The Rock didn't help Roman Reigns defeat anybody. The people that were assaulting Roman Reigns after they had been eliminated were no longer in the match, so Rock was there to sort of tip the scales right. He wasn't there to put them over in Roman Reigns' favor. When it was established that Rusev was still in the match, Rock didn't lay a finger on. Second of all, people want to say, it's so sad, that Roman Reigns has to rely on his other family members to get him over and make him relevant. Let me just see, what did Charlotte and Natalya do at the NXT pay-per-view? Oh yeah, that's right, Brett was there. And Rick was there, and yeah, but that's NXT, so it's okay there, right? No, see, double standards don't work, guys. I'm sorry. What's good for the two gooses is also good for the gander at the Royal Rumble. I loved this pay-per-view. Even the irrelevant undercard was pretty friggin' good. The Ascension was put over by the Outlaws, which is the way it's supposed to be. Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, who are big fan favorites right now, got put over in the pre-show and got to look great in the Rumble. Usos are still the tag champs, which irks me, but, they're going to be fed to the Ascension eventually. It fed into the Miz and Mizdow storyline going forward. We got a tease, once again, of Goldust versus Stardust. Lesnar looked like a beast. Rollins looked like a beast against Lesnar. Cena's presence in that match wasn't too overbearing. And there was a lot of people that got to look really good in the Rumble. Wyatt, I'm sorry, like, I have no problem with Roman Reigns winning it. And if you don't like me for that, that's fine. But the MVP of the Royal Rumble has to be Bray Wyatt. Like, there is no question about that. There is absolutely... Kofi Kingston's save spot this year was kind of lame. Ziggler went in and sold because that's what he does, and he's fantastic at it. Ambrose didn't quite get as much of a chance to shine as some people would have liked, but, you know, that's a thing. All in all, this isn't the horrible Rumble that you guys all want to paint it to be. You guys, and you know which ones I'm talking to out there, you want to paint that a whole 3-hour show was bad because of the last 2 minutes of one of the matches. And that's bullshit. It really, really is. I'm going to put out a plug here that you guys probably wouldn't expect. I'm going to tell you to go check out Wrestling Paradise. I'm going to tell you to go check out Delexman's channel. Because, I'm sorry, here it is. You will see Preston crying. You will see Alex and what I can only assume is his twin brother crying. You will see Alex and Preston crying. And you will see Alex crying again today. And that is sad. That is pathetic. These are the guys that is like, oh, why are you being so critical? It's the Rumble time. It's the time where you should be able to find your fun. You should be able to just lean back and be relaxed and enjoy the wrestling. And you're crying because one guy that you didn't like has a bit of success. Oh, yes. Now, if this had been Brian, or if this had been Ray, or if this had been Cesaro, or if this had been somebody else and somebody else and somebody else, and people were shitting on them, you'd be all up in arms. You'd be like, oh, why are you guys, how can you be so angry about somebody succeeding? How can you be so angry about somebody doing well? Well, that's exactly what you're doing right now. So I implore you, I encourage all of you, check out the Wrestling Paradise channel, check out Delexman's channel, and watch them cry like little babies that need their diapers changed because one guy that they didn't like won one match. I don't care. I'm not trying to be politically correct. Rumble, fucking awesome. Anyways, I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys.